I see your phone out. Who else? Who else? Somebody's trying to film me. Alright, all phones down, please. No, lights, come on. GVLs, like. Get your stuff. So, we are going to present our sixth keynote. He's a civil engineer here in Panama, and his primary focus is on water resources, spearheading a pilot program to the Ministry of Environmental Panama. And what that program or that enterprise or that project revolves around is controlling or, yes, somewhat controlling the solid waste paths into the Panamanian Sea, both the Pacific and Atlantic. Please welcome Rob Getman.
Thank you very much. Very exciting introduction. I want to start off by, I'm going to be reading this. I want to start off by thanking all of you for attending the GIN conference. It's very good to see such a large group of interested in sustainability. Most of you are probably forced here by your teachers, but that's okay. I also want to thank the teachers and the students at this conference. It requires a lot of effort to put something like this on and make it run as smoothly as it has so far. I am not an experienced speaker, as you probably noticed, and I actually try to avoid it at all costs. But when a friend of mine, actually an organizer here of the conference, asked me, she heard about my project and asked me to talk to you about it, well, I couldn't say no to this face. So I'm going to leave that up there for a little while to get her back. Well, no, I won't. I'll go to the next one. I won't torture her. So I brought you all here garbage. Okay? The project I am working on here in Panama has to do with garbage, with litter specifically, which is misplaced garbage. Now, how many of you have noticed as a litter problem? Anybody? That was a rhetorical question because, of course, Panama, I see it literally every day. I see it when I run along the Cinta. I see it when I drive into Paitilla where I live. I see it when to the park. I see it and I see it when I go into the interior, basically. That is. I thought I was having to update my references. Well, most of the litter that you see around the city will eventually be picked up by stormwater during a rain event and will flow down through our storm sewers and into our oceans. And once the trash, well, I just skipped ahead. Once the trash reaches the rivers, it will eventually flow into our oceans. The project I'm here to talk about focuses on preventing that. I'm going to show you that project and but first I want to show you why it needs to be done. Like I said, I saw garbage everywhere in Panama, and that was enough to motivate me to do something about it. But Panama is not the only country with a litter problem. The problem of litter is worldwide, and I want to start by showing you just a few of the ways that litter is affecting our biggest natural resource, our oceans. Now, outside of my Panama bubble, how much damage we're actually causing. I knew that we were polluting our oceans, and I knew it was bad. Ideas of the numbers or the statistics to really know how bad it was. By preparing to talk to you today, I now know way more than I want to know, honestly. Before I show you these statistics, these numbers, I want to clarify that I know that they're not 100% accurate. This is a global issue. There's litter problems all over. Tons of scientists doing lots of different studies, and they're getting so much information and data that they can interpret it any way that they want. So I know these aren't 100% accurate because there aren't accurate numbers on pollution, litter pollution across the world. But I want to show them to you so you can get an idea of the scale of the problem that we're dealing with. Spoiler alert, it's huge. Let's take a look. Littering statistics. So, percent of people who admit 5 years, 75% that admit to it. So you know it's way more that actually do it. Average of steps a person will take holding a piece of trash before they give up and throw it away on the ground. 12 paces, 12 steps. That's actually, I'm surprised that it was that many. Total amount spent on cleaning up $11.5 billion. You're going to see a lot of billions in the next few numbers. Total amount of each year, just in the US, 2 million tons. A ton is 2,000 pounds. I'll let you do the math on that. Total amount of litter that is dumped into the oceans every year. This is where it gets a little fuzzy. 2 billion to 9 billion tons a year. I'll do the math for you on that one. Whoa, well that didn't turn out very well. But that's 18 trillion pounds of litter that go into our oceans every year. And I'm totally lost now. So hold on a second. Okay. So let's look at exactly what we're throwing away. What's in this litter? Not surprising. Food waste, paper, yard trimmings. Well, that's not a big deal if they end up in our oceans. Not as bad as some of the other ones, but we use this one here. Ooh, plastics. 12.7%. These are the nasty ones that we want to avoid. These are the ones that the longest, especially out there in the oceans. Let's see. How long do they last, you ask? Well, these are some numbers of typical marine litter that we're finding, or marine debris. And you look at the ones in plastic, the plastic ones, you've got plastic bottles, 450 years, beverage holders, 400 years, even, where are they? 20 years, up to 20 years. These plastics last a long time out there, and some people think they last thousands of years. And they last forever because they don't deteriorate, just break down into smaller and smaller pieces, and that continue to do that, never really disappearing and affecting the environment in a negative way. So let's see. Statistics. These are the bad boys. Like I said, 12.7%, nearly 13% of our municipal waste stream. 8 million tons of plastic a year, just plastic, get into the ocean every year. It's about 6 tons a year. There's about an estimate of 5.25 trillion pieces of plastic floating in our ocean. And you might be asking, where are they? I don't see them. I go to the beaches. I swim in the water. I don't see tons of plastic. I see it on the beach sometimes. We have what are called currents in the ocean. Ocean currents that move the plastic. They take them for years and years, for miles, thousands over the earth. Here's a nice little fact that since plastics were created about 100 plus years ago, a little over 100 years ago, and they really started manufacturing them in the 50s, around 60, 70 years ago, they've got a lifetime of hundreds of years, if not thousands of years. So every plastic that's ever been made is still there. It's out there, breaking down into smaller and smaller pieces. So the plastic spoon and plate that your grandfather had for his 10th birthday, eating his birthday cake, out there somewhere. And if it's in the ocean, it could be passing by Australia or somewhere for the 5th time. But most likely, if it's in our oceans, it's in a gyre. I'll tell you what a gyre is. These are the 6 gyres that are located around the world. And gyres are similar, they're called vortexes, or I use a whirlpool to kind of explain it to you. The currents run in a circular manner, and they create these dead spots where the ocean's a little bit calmer, not very many currents go through it, and the plastics float into the middle, and they just group together there, forming these clumps. They call them islands, the Great Garbage Patch or Great Garbage Islands. But that's kind of a misnomer. It's not really a correct way to see it, because you're not gonna, if you took the trip out there, you went off from California and sailed for 7 days out to the middle of nowhere, over here, to go see the Great Pacific Gyres, you wouldn't see this. You wouldn't see a huge pile of garbage. That would be great to be able to take a barge out there with a crane and get the garbage out of there. You can't pull your boat up to the Great Pacific Island, the garbage island, and visit around, visit the garbage people, and have a wonderful time, what you're going to see if you go out there is this. It's open ocean. I know some of you maybe say, well, I saw a picture once and it said garbage island. And it looked like a garbage island. That was probably from an earthquake or from a typhoon or a tsunami that they were using that footage as a garbage island, because what's really out there looks like this. You don't see it. You see a few pieces of garbage floating around, maybe a little bit more than normal, but you have to really get into the water and take samples. This is what it looks like when you look down into the water, this plastic, soupy mess. These little tiny pieces, these are part of the 5.25 trillion pieces of plastic that are, and you can notice when they're around 1 to 4.75 millimeters in size. You take a look, there's a lot of whites and blues and a couple of greens, a few yellows, not too many reds or oranges. And why is that? Because those colors resemble the food for marine birds and fish. And they are gobbling them up because they're a lot easier to catch than their natural food of zooplankton and small little ocean creatures. Warning, these next pictures are not pretty because I want to show you what's happening to these animals when they're eating these plastics. This is an albatross chick, a baby albatross. It's from Midway Island, right in the middle of where those garbage patches were in the Pacific. Now, if you've done your history on World War II, Midway was a very important island in World War II. It's located about 3,000 miles from the US and about 2,000 from Japan, right in the middle of the ocean, as far as you can get from civilization. But they still have a problem with garbage, with litter, because the garbage patch is parked right next door to it. And their huge marine bird population is eating it up. They hunt in the garbage patches because of food, and then they pick it up and they take it off to their chicks and feed them. It fills them up with garbage, makes them feel full so they don't eat anymore, or it blocks their digestive tract and it starves them to death. It's a very nasty way to die. But it's not only birds, it's fish too. Fish are eating the pieces as well. This one is a larva damselfish. And those little white pellets are very scary when you think about it. I'm going to tell you about them. They're called microbeads or microplastics. Who uses a facial scrub? Come on. It's high school. Everyone has it. I was there. Okay, well, some of you have perfect skin, I guess. Body wash. Use body wash as well. Okay, you don't stink. Who brushes their teeth? Everybody brushes their teeth, I hope. Fantastic. Well, these products have microbeads in them. That's, they're designed to scrub your face or your teeth. And these microbeads are abrasive. They clean your teeth and your face. But the problem is that when you rinse off that facial scrub, you're putting about 100,000 of these every time you rinse your face into the sink and straight out to the rivers and out to the oceans, because these we can't get out. We can't get them out in the water treatment plants. So they're going out and the little fish are eating them. And scientists say, in Sweden they did a study where they say these little larva fish, these baby fish, actually prefer the microbeads over their natural diet. So fish and birds, what else? Turtles. Everybody loves turtles. Well, turtles love jellyfish. And jellyfish look a lot like plastic grocery bags floating in the water. And the turtles can't tell the difference. Who else likes jellyfish? Whales like jellyfish. This is a sperm whale that was found dead on the beach with 37 pounds of plastic in its stomach, 59 grocery bags, clogging its digestive tract. But maybe you don't. Birds are ugly and fish are gross and turtles are slimy and, well, everybody loves whales, but I bet you care about yourself and about your family, because this is not just in the ocean. These plastics are climbing up the food chain, and they're taking with them chemicals, because plastics can absorb chemicals, and it's already proven that once absorbed, when they're inside someone's digestive tract, the chemicals leach out and get into the individual's body that's eating them. So I haven't looked at my paper once, so I'm pretty impressed, but I'm going to try to memorize. I'm going to say these names really quick. DDT, diphenyl trichloroethane. I'm pretty sure, don't check on that one. Think pesticides, That's what's in pesticides that are used to kill off the bugs to save our crops. They get flushed off the crops with rain into our oceans and then into the plastics. PCB is polychlorinated biphenyl. Pretty sure that's right. That also is a banned substance, but it was used in electronics. They don't even use it anymore, but there's so much of it out there that it's affecting the plastics and our wildlife. So this little larva, this little damselfish larva, eats a microbead coated in DDT. Lives long enough, just long enough to absorb the DDT into its system, and then long enough, luckily, to be eaten by a bigger fish, who's eaten by a bigger fish, who's eaten by a bigger fish, who's eaten by tuna, who becomes a spicy tuna fish, or tuna roll, for your cousin Rolando. All right? And then you eat roll, and you are in trouble. Okay? So these are just a few of the reasons, a few of the effects of specifically plastic in our oceans and how it's affecting wildlife but ourselves. So now the question is, what are solutions? Okay, well one is talking trash cans. I like that idea. They have them in Europe. I would 12 paces to throw my garbage conversation. But what else? People are coming up with all kinds of ideas, and some of them include removing garbage from the garbage patch. Who knows who this guy is? Anybody? No? Well, I'll give you a hint. He's not in a boy band, okay? Even though he could be. But ironically, his name is Boyan. Boyan Slat. He's a Dutch aerospace engineering student, or he used to be, and he came up with a school project to clean the ocean called the Ocean Cleanup Array. It's a very cool vessel that floats out there. It's called a passive system, which just floats. It uses those long arms, and as the currents bring the garbage in, it gobbles it up, the plastic, and gobbles it up, and then separates it and keeps it, and then they transport it off to be recycled. Very cool project. He's got a lot of attention. He's got funding. He has his own plane, which is pretty cool. They're doing a lot of research on the Great Pacific Garbage Patch right now. He's a very impressive young man who's done some great things, and I think he's a good role model for young people to see what they can do with limited resources, but a good idea, with the difference that they can make. But this is not going to solve the problem by itself. Cleaning up the garbage patch, is not going to solve the problem, because there's already so much pollution out there, so much garbage. What do we say? I said 8 million tons of garbage every day. So just to keep that from coming out, to clean that up every day, he would need to clean up 44 million pounds every day, just to keep even with what's coming into the ocean. I don't see how he can do that. It seems kind of hard. But it's a good idea, and it's something. But it needs something else. So, oops, sorry, what did I do? Okay, so what did it again? Sorry, fix it, tech guy. I gotta start over? Oh God, there we go. Sorry, I'll get there. Anyway, so I'm gonna show you my presentation that I gave to the Ministra de Medio Ambiente a few weeks ago for my project. Like I said, I think the guy MC who introduced me said, the purpose is to stop the garbage from getting out to the oceans, from stopping it in from the rivers. Come on, go faster. Boy band? Okay. Boom. Yes, here we go. This is my presentation that I gave them at the Ministra. They have already picked the Matias Hernandez as their first site because it's in Costa del Este, I guess. I don't know. Because everyone can see it. It's got a terrible problem. This is the beach right by the mouth of the Matias Hernandez River. So, and it seems to always be covered in garbage because all the garbage coming out. Now you, I think, have seen this. This is supposed to be playing right now. Check. But anyway, okay, wait, there you go. Hey, nice, thank you very much. This is the first flush. The first flush means we have a rainy season. We have a dry season of about 4 months. So that's where garbage sits in the roads and collects. And it's not getting picked up by anybody except the rain when it comes. And when that first big rainfall comes in April, which is coming up pretty soon, all that garbage is going to be flushed off the streets, into the rivers, and then into our oceans. This is horrible. When I saw this video, I couldn't believe it, that it was this bad. But this almost is worse. This is November. This is my video that I took in November when I was studying the rivers. This is a steady stream of garbage 7 months after the first flush. And it goes all the way up the river as far as I could see. And here is where it ends up. It goes straight out into the waves of the ocean eventually. There it goes. And then a lot of it comes right back onto the beaches. So I think can help that problem. And it might not look like much, but it is called the Bandalong litter trap. It's from Australia. I know, they have funny names. But it is basically just a basket that sits on the surface of the water and floats 24 hours a day with long arms like Boyans, the boy band guy, and they go from one side of the river to the other, and they just collect the garbage as it comes down. And then a team goes out and retrieves it. This is a profile and plan view. You look on the top, it's about 10 meters long by 3 meters wide. It holds about 8.5 cubic meters of garbage, so around a little more than 4 big containers of garbage. And it sits just on top of the water, goes underneath a little bit, just a little bit to keep garbage from going under it, but not too much to affect the wildlife. This is the spot I've chosen on the river. It's right near the mouth of the river, so we get as much garbage possible before nothing can come in behind it and go out to the river. This is a spot specifically, and I chose it because it has very little vegetation, so the boom arms, I don't have to remove much. On this side as well, there's mangrove all the way up the river. It has a nice big area here for assembly and also easy access from the street so that for my people to remove the garbage. And also we want to do an educational program, so to bring people to see it and show them exactly what we're collecting. It's wide here, so it's shallow, so the velocity, the speed of the river is low, so it's not too much wear and tear on the system, and it's also much safer for my people that are going to collect the garbage. And it collects from a large area, a lot of different areas of Panama. So these are some examples of ones that have been installed and used in the US, in Brockton, Massachusetts. Now you might have been thinking, well, 4.5 garbage containers, that's not going to handle that first flush that we saw. That was a ton of garbage, multiple tons probably. But the whole river becomes a trap, a collector. It'll just keep going up the river until we get out there and start to clean it up. We've got some in Little Rock, Arkansas, Washington, Satilla. This is one that's going to be very similar to the Matias Hernandez. The arms are going to rest on the riverbank, and then as the water rises, the arms will rise. The whole system will rise, and it'll be at the surface of the water, collecting everything floating down. Okay. So this is an example of the Maniste that I wanted to see it in action with high flow rivers. This one's around 5 to 6 feet. This is the maximum of the Matias Hernandez. 100-year flood is what I call it. And perfectly, without any problem whatsoever, still collecting garbage at a high velocity river. Okay. Now the river, the little trap can't go everywhere. It can go pretty much everywhere, but it has to be a river that's 2 meters or wider. And it can't work with some of these culverts and pipes. So these are other alternatives, some nettings that we can use. So we have a lot of options. But even so, I will admit that this is not the solution to the problem. Boyan's solution is not the solution, or Boyan's project is not the solution. My project is not the solution to the problem. In my opinion, the solution is education. It's educating everyone, which is why I'm here today doing this. Because I feel that people need to see this, the data that I was showing them. But it's going to take a while. Educating people is a long, slow process. So in the meantime, we're going to hopefully use this. What else can we do? What else can you do this? What can you do? Well, you can don't litter, okay? That's number one. 75% of you that probably admit it. Stop doing that. Reconsider the use of plastic products. Use alternatives if you can. They are pretty much the harshest thing you can put into our environment, so using them less is a good thing. Try not to use single-use products made of plastic. Plastic forks, plastic knives, plastic plates. Try to use an alternative, something that you can reuse. Recycle. If you have to use them, recycle them properly. There is a recycling location in Costa del Este by the Costa del Este Park. If you don't know where it is, it's across the street from Krispy Kreme, and I know you know where that is. All right? Ms. Marchowski knows. I know she does. Support closed-loop manufacturing processes. These are companies that manufacture things. They have a product that they're making, and they have waste from that product. but they can reuse it, put it back into the manufacturing and use it again. Find those companies and use them. Don't use the ones that just throw their waste away. Let's put them out of business and support these smaller companies that are reusing their waste. And finally, take action. Do something about it. I love this quote, but I have to read. The greatest threat to our planet is the belief that someone else will save it. It's not going to happen. You have to save yourself. So do something about it. Okay? They have a recycling program here, I heard. Ms. Marchowski, that on Monday, there was 100 people that wanted to get involved. You need to blow that thing up, all right? And if you're already doing that, go home and talk to your parents. They love it when you say, you're ruining my environment. We need to be recycling. Why are you saving my planet, mother? They love to hear that stuff. I'm a parent. She's right there. She loves to tell me that stuff. If you're already doing that, you live in apartments, high-rises, closed-gate communities. Start something with the administration of those buildings. Start something. Do something about it. This is a little selfish, but who wants to go to college someday? Anybody? Okay, so you're going to have to make an application for that to get into a college. You know what looks good on an application? President of the Panama Youth Recycling Group Organization.org, whatever. You know, create something. You can all be presidents. I think that's all I got. Yeah, that's all I have. Thank you very much.